Welcome to the second episode of our self-disclosure series video, our second episode of our English version self-disclosure videos. Thank you very much for waiting. In last video, I talked about why I wanted to do this series, this self-disclosure series, and gave you a little bit background information about our company, myself, and the general direction of the matter, and a little bit details about the contents around this self-disclosure series that I wanted to share with you guys. I also gave you guys the list of people's names who I referred to myself over the years, in the past 8 to 9 years, who I referred to a lot when I gathered information and related contents. So I really encourage you guys to go check them out yourselves, since, like I said, 99% of the information that I gathered and obtained and received over these 8 to 9 years are in English. So I trust that my English speaking audience will be able to comprehend those information and materials themselves more easily. And so in this second episode, I wanted to share with you guys the contents that I released last year on the topic of consciousness, and some other contents of more sensitive nature in the later pieces of these released written and video format contents. And I would like to cover around 6 or maybe 8 pieces of such contents with you guys in this video, as you'll probably be able to check those information out yourself and understand, or I want to use the word understand more the contents yourself quite easily. So I will go to our awarestore.com.hk website and begin to share with you quite quickly these already published contents already published, and I'll try to cover 8 of them in this video. So let me share my screen. So this is our main website, main page, and when you go to this resources section, there is a subtopic called consciousness. And in this page, you can scroll down to the bottom. And this is the first piece that we published last year. The first piece is a video produced by Callie. And this video's title was "What is 3D, 4D, 5D Consciousness in 3 Minutes" by Aware Store and Callie Mock, published last year, June 22nd. So I will probably read quickly these texts that I used for this different contents in this video, so you don't have to read them yourselves. And I would probably insert some background information in the middle of this sharing. So for this video, I said that our last video with Callie was about learning to read the ingredients labels, which are the our past videos, older videos. And I said, have you noticed that most of the time we make our own purchase / eating / action decisions without going through a conscious process? I.e., we do not really know the real reasons why we made those decisions. This time we prepared a video on the subject 3D, 4D, 5D consciousness brackets. D stands for density, and hope to introduce to you the basics of these different levels of consciousness. And we will cover more on this topic going forward. I probably won't play this video here. You could come back later. This is a very short video, like 3 or 4 minutes. So I wanted to share with you guys this concept of different levels of consciousness. In Hong Kong, probably most people didn't hear this concept in schools or through the mainstream media before. So I wanted to introduce this sort of new concept to my customers and audience. So I wanted to highlight that the D letter stands for density, and we will explain further in our self-disclosure series videos, but not this time. All right, we'll go on to the second piece. The second piece to the 8th piece or written texts that I wrote myself last year. This piece title is Unconscious. People do things to harm themselves without realizing it. It was published July 16th last year, 2023. And I said in this piece, in the recently published video, we introduced to you there are different levels of consciousness, namely 3D, 4D, 5D. And I said, first of all, we do not particularly desire to overanalyze the terminologies of these labels, brackets, whether they stand for densities or dimensions, which do not at this moment mean a whole lot to our upcoming discussion. And instead, we want to first focus on the concept of consciousness. Have you noticed many people do not make their everyday decisions to the best interest of their own and their surrounding people's well-being? Why is that? And have you noticed that this particular concept of consciousness is absent in our society growing up and in our school system in Hong Kong? Why is that? Brackets, you might want to think about why. In a competitive society like the one we live in right now, people are very used to making unconscious decisions without going through a thought process, and those decisions are actually harming themselves and the society as a whole. Without now going further on this topic, we first want to remind everybody of the existence of this consciousness thing. Moving forward, we will share more related topics with you. So last year, or over past several years, I realized that this particular notion of consciousness or this particular topic of consciousness is actually absent in our environment in Hong Kong, in schools, and also in the mainstream media. They really wouldn't talk about this consciousness thing. So I wrote that piece last year. And the following piece title is Consciousness, published July 23rd, 2023. In this piece, I said, it seems quite a lot of people are not certain about what consciousness is exactly. Let us delve into it for a moment now. Consciousness is actually in it. Then how come most of us have lost it? Here are some of the reasons. And I listed some important ones. The first one is medical interventions right from birth, 24/7 mainstream media bombardment, constant intake of polluted foods, constant intake of water or drinks with fluoride added, long-term livings in metropolitans, nonstop fears, etc., etc. So in other words, our consciousness has been tampered with right from the moment we are inside our mother's womb and right from our birth. How could we retrieve our consciousness then? You guessed it. And here are also some point forms. The first one is increased intake of unpolluted foods, drink water with fluoride filtered out, move away from mainstream media bombardment, get close to the mother nature environment more, move away from medical interventions, look inside yourself and follow your own intuitions. What do you mean by look inside yourself and why follow our own intuitions? We will explain next time. So at the end, I introduced to you guys the notion of intuition and looking inward yourselves, which is also a concept not taught at our school and the general environment in Hong Kong. So the following piece, I started to talk about intuition. This piece was published August 1st, 2023. This company, Lapis Solution HK Limited, where stock came into life only because its founder followed her own intuition. In a highly competitive society like Hong Kong, and owing to the reasons mentioned in our last post, the majority of Hong Kong people lost their innate consciousness ability. They generally do things only because other people also do those things, and no conscious thought processes are involved therein. Influenced by the mainstream media and people around ourselves like family, relatives, friends, we basically only know how to look outward, to seek outside validations and stimuli to satisfy ourselves. It gets to the point where we would continue to do what we do even though those things may not be what we ourselves prefer or like, so long we get validations from others or outside. In Hong Kong growing up, we are not encouraged to look inside or look inward and follow our own intuitions. On the contrary, we have been encouraged to constantly seek outside validations and stimuli. As a result, people mindlessly and unconsciously destroy human relationships as well as sack natural resources in the community and Mother Nature, rendering a society in the present full of emotional depression, fears, competitions, and depleted natural resources. So long as we learn how to look inward and respect our own innate feelings and follow our own intuitions, both human relationship and the things around us will get better shapes naturally. So try to look inside yourself, go inward, and observe what your true needs are. Brackets, not what other people tell you what you need. And try to find out what your original state is like. So in this piece, I encourage people to use their own intuition and not always look outside, look outward for validations. And this is also a concept not very talked about in Hong Kong's education system, nor in the mainstream media. All right, this is the fifth piece of contents. This piece's title is about eco-friendly and carbon reduction. Published August 7, 2023. So back in 2015, when Aware's the founder, which is myself, founded the company, she was very naive to think that everything can be 100% eco-friendly. Not until she did the necessary research and realized that the whole eco-friendly thing is not as simple as it appeared to her, and what's more, to her utter shock, she realized there lies a whole lot of corruption and evilness behind the practices. And I said it would take us a lot of time to share all the related information with you here, so we aim to only convey our key thoughts here in this post. We already made 2 videos on the climate change and CO2 topics previously. The links can be found below, and please take time to go through them. Going forward, we will share bits by bits of the information we gathered along the years here and through other means. To be able to promote eco-friendly products and ideas, one must do the necessary research first. That was what our founder did. That was what I did. After about 1 year since founding the company, unfortunately, she found that what she heard about eco-friendly, climate change, global warming, etc., and more recently carbon footprints has basically no concrete and real scientific data backups. She was shocked that people would say and do things without referring to the truths and real scientific data. They simply follow what the mainstream media tell them to do and to say. Brackets, you might want to as well refer to our previous posts and video on consciousness. She did not dare to say much on the company's social media front after learning how corrupted and evil the agenda is. Only after a few years' time she gathered sufficient courage to publish related information on her company's website. People may then be asking, why are we being conned? This is exactly what she spent time finding out these 7 or 8 years. Luckily, she finally found most of the answers. We would like to share all the related information with you here and through other ways going forward. If there are any specific topics that particularly interest you, please let us know. We will gauge the sequence of the sharing of different details according to the situations at hand. Please remember to support us by patronizing our online shop and physical shops. We appreciate every bit of your support, and guess what? It counts towards your personal contributions to improve Hong Kong's and the humanity's future. So here I provided the links to all the videos that I mentioned, and also the older contents that I share on my website on the topic of climate change. You guys can also go check them out. The following piece is titled On Worldwide Matrix. So maybe we could pause a little bit here and maybe let me give you a little bit background information. So after going through several pieces on the topics and contents on consciousness that I shared last year, you probably have a feeling about how I came to the realization of as Hong Kong people being misled when we grow up in Hong Kong. In the schools, they do not really teach us these concepts that I just went through. And in the mainstream media, you also wouldn't hear the saying the concepts that I just mentioned. So it was really a process of realization myself over several years' time, and especially on the topics of the eco-friendly thing in Hong Kong. They constantly talk about climate change and global warming or carbon emission or carbon reduction. So in my own research, I found a lot of information that is contrary to these mainstream narratives. So this is why I shared the information that I found on my own website, and also wanted to share with you guys in this video series. So we can go on, and you will continue to find out that the information that I am going to share with you guys become more and more sensitive. So hope you could have the courage and acceptance to go on listening and watching. In this piece titled on Worldwide Matrix, it was published August 12, 2023. And I said, in Hong Kong recently, most people should already have noticed the dwindling local and global economy. Have you ever wondered who on earth actually dictated the global financial system, the origins of monies, and their roles in our world? We believe very people have, as most of them are too busy getting on with life full of challenges and entertainment. Even if they have thought about it, they often cannot get a clear answer, sadly. We hope what we are aware to share here in coming weeks and months can help you get closer to the truths. Most people in Hong Kong should more or less be familiar with the possible existence of aliens or ETs. Our founder, who is barely interested in these life forms growing up, has come to realize that these life forms actually play a critical role in humans' lives. After being exposed to a wealth of information around global politics and the state of humanity, our school syllabus in Hong Kong never mentions existence of different planetary star systems, their people, and how busy these planets actually are. Brackets, we will come back at a later time to talk about why our school syllabus does not cover troops. What our founder has come to realize is that the way humans have lived in this earth for X number of years was dictated right in the very beginning by some very ill-minded extraterrestrials. You might also call them the negative extraterrestrials or the bad guys. And at the same time, well-minded extraterrestrials do exist, and they have been monitoring the behavior of these evil extraterrestrials. On Earth, as soon as human beings themselves started to fight for themselves, these well-minded extraterrestrials started to get involved and help human beings get rid of these negative extraterrestrials. Here, I would like to clarify that this is not 100% accurate. The the real story is a little bit different, but you could comprehend the matter this way for this moment, and later on I will explain in more details and share more with you guys the real picture, or you could find out yourselves later on. So right around a year or two ago, around year 2021, the well-minded extraterrestrials finally finished kicking out all evil extraterrestrials. The whole global financial system, the whole worldwide government structures, the judicial systems, school systems, pharmaceuticals and foods production conglomerates, the media industry, etc., engineered by these negative extraterrestrials with the help of their bot humans, will take a very long time to be replaced and dismantled. The good news is that we have already entered a transition period that is going to be a very long one. Starting a few years ago, these obsolete and evil systems have already started to be officially and secretly replaced by the benevolent extraterrestrials and the Earth Alliance, brackets positive human military forces. They work very hard day in and day out to engineer, test, and implement the new systems. The mainstream media will never talk about it for reasons we will detail at a later time. In our last post, we mentioned how fake the climate change, global warming, and carbon footprints narratives are. These narratives were created exactly by the same group of evil humans and extraterrestrials who regularly use wars, viruses, among others, to create fear, divisions, and chaos among human beings. To be continued. So I hope that you could get a glimpse into the surface of the story, at least. I'm probably going too fast, but in video format, you could go back and look at it many times. So as I want to save time, I go a little bit fast in my English version videos. Okay, the seventh piece. The second last one I wanted to share with you guys in this video. This piece title is 4 words, published August 20th, 2023. And I said in our last post, we talked about how the benevolent extraterrestrials have already finished kicking out the evil extraterrestrials, and that as Earth people, Terrans have already entered a long transition period. Before we go on to cover different related topics, we would like to first familiarize you with a list of terms that we will be using very often. So below is a list of terms. They start with either a smiley face or a sad face to indicate the nature of that group of people or objects. The first point is a positive one with a smiley face. It is benevolent extraterrestrials plus positive human military forces and the organizations. We will refer them to as the Whiteheads. The second one is also positive. Allied, positive, well-minded, high-clearance military forces from different countries. They are called the Earth Alliance, and it is actually an official name. So you will hear a lot of this term Earth Alliance later on in this series videos. The following one is a negative one. Evil extraterrestrials plus their human associates established organizations. We call them deep state, cabal, cartel, dark hats, black hats, and as a whole, we will refer them to as the deep state or DS in abbreviation. The following one is also negative. Lower level yet still influential human beings who facilitate DS operations. We call them the DS minions. The following one is also negative. Global news network, global news outlets plus global media monopoly and network. We refer them to as the legacy mainstream media. The following one is also negative. The term matrix, which we already mentioned in our last post. The following one is positive. Places where the Whiteheads/Earth Alliance arbitrate and sentence DS operatives, and they are called the military tribunals. The following one is positive. Exposure of DS's evil acts from past to present and revelation of the details of the Whitehead's countermeasures to the general public. We call it the disclosure. And the following one is positive. The method through which these details are skillfully revealed to the general public. We call it the soft disclosure, which is what we are doing in this video series. We will further explain different terms used in different topics when we cover them in the future. Most of us human beings would have very likely viewed world events based on the unit of different nations. However, the sad fact is that most of the time, what lies behind different countries is the same group of people or organization. It might sound a bit far-fetched to you at this moment. Rest assured, our store will explain in more details in the near future. The good news is that the DS is almost already completely torn down by the Whiteheads after their years' hard work. The time for soft disclosure has finally come. Due to the extremely dangerous nature of the DS operatives, the Whiteheads would never mindlessly reveal their plans and operations, even to this date. To be continued. I'm running out of time, but I'm trying to cover the last piece here in this video. The title is About Money. It was published August 30th, 2023. In Hong Kong, from being born to going to school, learning to watch TV, listening to radio, and now using the internet, the majority of us have seemed to follow the same life direction pretty much. And pretty much all of us recognize that going to school, going to work, retiring, and enjoying the post-retirement life is a set life cycle. I myself, founder of this company, have joined the eco-business industry, done a whole lot of research, and realized how the misleading climate change and like narratives have been pushed by the deep state through the mainstream media apparatus, and that virtually all college professors simply read from their textbooks blindly and have stopped using any information coming from the legacy mainstream media and the academic institutions from early on. Thanks to the lovely internet, almost all kinds of information can be found up there, and I took advantage of it to look for answers nonstop to feed my thirst for truths. There is indeed so much information that I want to share with you. When we begin with one thing that everybody cares about, money. Our Aristotle previously said that because how busy our lives are, most of us have not thought about the question of who actually designed and created our monetary system. We also mentioned that it is the deep state that has started all the ordeals. The so-called economic downturns that we are all witnessing right now is actually a work in progress of the normalization work enabled by the Whiteheads who took back control of the earth around 7 to 8 years ago. In 1971, the United States, asterisk mark, formally canceled the gold standard, meaning the value of the dollar no longer had to be patched to the value of gold. Since then, there has been virtually no limits anymore as to how much money can be printed, and that has led to the humongous bubble economy and overlanding situations all over the world past 50 years. The asterisk mark above says not the United States in truth, but the deep state. I will probably explain more on this in later videos. Regarding lending brackets loans, Hong Kong people should be quite familiar with the practice. I want to reveal the truth to you straight up. The lending institutions brackets banks do not have to possess the money in order to lend you the money. Brackets one of the evil rules set by the deep state. As soon as someone signs certain loan documents, he or she starts to repay the principal plus interest monthly to the institution with real money that he or she earns through hard work, whilst the institution does not originally possess that money. Simply put, institution just sits here every month to receive monies that it does not originally have, i.e. your signature equals the money creation for them. So are you feeling angry? Please calm down first. Being right, oh, I missed this short paragraph. I said sounds insane? Totally. This is why we very much want to share all the information that we gathered with you. Feeling angry? Please calm down first. Being angry right now does not help solve the problems. Please share what you have learned with others and invest time in identifying ways to break through the deep state matrix for yourself and your family. Stop being a slave in the obsolete system and start co-creating new rules that you desire for a new world that you want to live in. To be continued. So hopefully you get some idea of what concepts have been missing in our mainstream media and through my sharing of these contents that I published last year, you get some new idea on what Hong Kong and the whole world are heading towards. And in next videos, hopefully I will talk in more details on the more specific side of the story with you, and you will have an even more clear picture, or if you have time, you could go directly to the sources that I provided in last video, and you will start to learn bits by bits of the kind of information that I want to share with you guys in this self-disclosure series videos. So my apologies for the pace of this video. Hopefully I could give a more clear presentation in our following English version videos. Again, thank you very much for your time. See you guys next time.